versus as soon as his music popped out and he walked out, I immediately wrote, how good was masked Cody Rhodes?
And even before that, dashing Cody Rhodes would have been a great heel champion too.
I know. So it's like he had it even then. The guy had a mustache at one point, and that got over.
Just like, he was great, but this match was, I would say, it had some crazy spots. The one that was crazy that I forgot about was Sheamus throwing Sin Cara through a ladder.
Oh, yeah, that was brutal.
So I wrote down there, and I was going to bring this up later. If you go back and you look at when Sheamus powerbombed Sin Cara through that ladder, maybe this is common knowledge. Maybe this is not something anybody else noticed. I swear to God, that ladder was made of wood.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you said that because I said the exact same thing when it happened.
Is that something that I just have never noticed? Is that common knowledge? Are some of these ladders wood?
Oh, yeah, they're wood. Yeah, they're wood.
Spray paint them.
Okay.
If they're going to put somebody through them.
Okay, well then I'm a dum-dum. I didn't know that. Being as big of a wrestling fan, I did not know that. But it was so freaking apparent that I sent a picture to a group chat with a couple of my buddies who were WWE fans. I'm like, this ladder is wood, and they are not hiding that at all.
I know, because you can see the chips in the ground.
Yeah, it was completely two different colors. As soon as it split, you saw the red wood underneath it. I was like, oh.
Even though I think people know about it, it would have been nice if they would have just changed the camera angle, because you probably have some people that are casuals that were watching the show. Or, like, not just casuals, but people like us, and it kind of, like, takes you out of the moment for a second.
It did. It took it out of the moment for a little bit.
Because when he puts Sin Cara through that, you go, oh! Like, you know, you're sitting there, like, and then you're like, wait a minute, is that wood? Like, and it kind of takes you out of the moment for a second.
Uh-huh. No, I agree 100%. I think that actually probably was the spot of the match. But there are some other cool ones. There's a Spanish fly spot. You know, there are other cool things. But regardless... sorry, you go.
No, I just talking about a couple of spots that really stuck out. When Justin Gabriel did that 450 off of the ladder that was balanced between the two.
How did I forget to mention that?
Yeah, that was...
What a spot. Again, something that I was on a party chat talking to some people as we were watching this, and I had to send a screen recording of it. I was just like, guys, look at what this man is doing right now. Like, it was just the spots in this match were so crazy. And I was thinking, and I said to my wife, if they tried to do 205 Live in 2011, if you look at guys like Justin Gabriel and Cody and Slater, and even like over on the Raw side, you look at, you know, Evan Bourne.
Bourne would have been great.
Like, you could have made 205 Live a third show that really took off. I mean, it was.
Evan Bourne would have probably been the face of the division.
Oh, yeah. Evan Bourne would be a cruiserweight champion right now.
He was so over with the crowd.
I know he was. And that guy was honestly talented enough. He could have been like a U.S. champion. I would totally have been behind it.
But, like, it's honestly, though, like, it just shows that the problem is they had these great talents back then, but they had absolutely nothing to do with them. Because, I mean, the problem with Justin Gabriel was he wasn't a great talker.
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, but, like, you don't need to be in the cruiserweight division, but sure, he's good, but what are you going to do with him? You can't make Justin Gabriel a champion. Like, that's not the cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Unless he's a tag team champion. Which he was.
It was just tough.
Yeah, and of course those guys have all, and those three guys that like we named off, like with you know, like Gabriel and Cody and Bourne. I mean, they've all gone on to do some stuff like post WWE. Of course, Cody, he's one of the stars of AEW, one of the minds behind it, and you know he's a star. And I mean, Evan Bourne's done some good work since then as Matt Sydal. Justin Gabriel's done great work as well as under PJ Black. I mean, they've gone on to do some great things. And it's like, it's like we could always look at these times and be like, wow, just like a bunch of like, you know, misses here and opportunities, or like, you know, they were before their time and everything. Which I mean, it's all the case, but I guess it's just, you know, I guess some people just don't pan out there, and you know, not that those guys would have been world champions. I mean, I think Cody should have been a world champion, but
yeah, Cody should have been.
I just think it's interesting.
Cody should have won Money in the Bank at some point.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. And I guess some people just don't pan out, and then they go somewhere else, and then they do better, and they find their footing, and then maybe they even come back. And I mean, look at what McIntyre's done. That guy exited. years ago. Then he got released, and then he went on, had a run as Drew Galloway. Then he got brought back to NXT, was a champion. Then took him a while even when he came back, but then now he's world champion. So it's just interesting how guys just they go back and forth, and they're in and out of different promotions, and eventually they find their footing. Or if they don't do it in WWE, I mean, they look at Cody and like what some of these guys have done since then.
Yeah, for sure.
So then,
no, go ahead, Cam, please.
Oh, so 24 minutes and 27 seconds would be the recorded time for that. Yeah, I thought it was kind of lengthy. Not that I was complaining about it, because I mean, it's when a ladder match is the opener, it deserves time.
But all Money in the Bank matches are kind of lengthy. Like,
yeah, but they deserve time.
Yeah, for sure.
And for the ratings on here, Josh and I both agree to go with 4.
What did I get? I went 3 3/4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just behind us.
I still thought it was a great match.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling Cam, this being my first time here, my first time rating it, I just kind of jotted down how I was going to rate matches before I even started watching the pay-per-view, and I kind of set that 3 as just the average, no feelings either way. And, I kind of just said, if, we showed this match to just a random fan or a random person, how would they feel about it? I said a 4 would be something like, hey, I'll give WWE or WWF another go. Or, a 5 would be, now I'm a WWE fan just from seeing that match.
Oh, 5's like instant classic.
Yeah. 2, I said, probably would be a while before I watch WWE again. And 1 would be, a never again type of match.
Oh, 1 and below is a complete dud.
Yeah, I think we have a 1 and below on this show.
Oh, that's coming up next.
That's coming up next. So, I gave it a 4. I really thought, not knowing the outcome of this match, I thought for sure Sheamus was going to get it. They had him about 3/4 of the way through that match. He was just looking dominant. And I also jotted down here, I don't know if you guys remember, for a while there was that little gimmick that they had where the bro kick was illegal because it was hurting people. There was like a contract written up and everything. And
I forgot about that.
It was literally like 2 months, and he couldn't use it, and he had a whole bunch of losses, but it was because I believe they said it was the same reason they stopped the curb stomp. Kids were doing bro kicks out in the schoolyards. And eventually it makes its way back, just like we got Seth Rollins, the Monday Night Messiah.
He's doing that stupid knee.
But
the terrible V trigger.
He threw a bro kick into Sin Cara that I cringed.
He killed him.
He killed him with it. So, man, it was just, that was a great Money in the Bank match. If you showed it to somebody who had never seen a WWE match, I'm pretty confident that they would say, you know what? If that's what WWE's about, I'll give it another go. So I stick behind that 4 for sure.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great Money in the Bank ladder match. It's also interesting how great it turned out to be. Just because, like, you look at some of the names in there, like you see, Gabriel and Slater in there, and like Sin Cara. It's like not to take away from those guys, or like I'm not trying to this isn't necessarily trying to take a shot or anything, but it's just interesting because they just got a weird mix in there, but it worked.
You did have a weird mix, definitely. Like I said, I thought this was a great match.
It was kind of unpredictable.
Great way to start a show for sure.
Yeah. Oh, this is definitely the best choice between the 2 ladder matches to start.
And then you can get them pumped up and ready for the second match of the night.
Yes, and then transitioning to that, we would have the Divas Championship on the line. It would be Kelly Kelly defending against Brie Bella. Eve Torres would be in the corner of Kelly Kelly, and Nikki Bella, of course, is in the corner of Brie.
Here's what I'll say about this. I've gotten so used to in recent years watching the women at the level they're at now that when I go back and watch wrestling from back then, I pretty much can't even watch women's matches.
It is exactly what Cam and I were talking about right before, and I said, I don't want to dog on it, but how spoiled are we that we get to see the quality of women's wrestling that we do every single week on every single every different promotion.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And Cam said he doesn't want to seem like he's dogging on these women. I don't think they were getting They were just they were viewed differently.
Yeah. They unfortunately were viewed as the bathroom break that were never going to put on a good match. That's pretty much what they were viewed as.
And that they never draw.
Yeah, and it sucks because I think another aspect of it was they were never given any time anywhere. Like, you could never build up to a good women's match because you never gave them time on Raw or SmackDown, which in turn means that when you have the match on the pay-per-view, nobody's going to care.
Yeah, it's just there.
Yeah, and like I said, nowadays, like every promotion, like Raw, you have Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler, people like that. NXT, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair,
Io Shirai.
Yeah, SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Bayley. Like, you have great female wrestlers on every single show. And back then, it's just, I think that one, they didn't really train them to be that good because they would train them to fight differently, like pull hair and stuff like that. And then another one is they didn't really care if you were a good wrestler.
No, it was.
They cared about how you looked.
It was like a look industry, and yeah, so which is of course a bummer, of course, especially with how they've come to where they are now. But the late 2000s, early 2010s, or really just the 2000s, maybe in general, just the early 2010s, is definitely a rough time for the women of the WWE. So. Yeah, so there is that, and I've said that multiple times on this program. It's like I feel bad every single time because whenever we review, the women of today and their matches, like for our like pay-per-view review and recaps, like for nowadays and stuff, of course, everyone has like their matches, that aren't the best. Those do come and go, but it's like it's just day and night the difference between like the level that they were going at back at this stage and like the level that they are at now. So. I said it many times. I just feel bad because I feel like I just I just dump on like all the Divas matches or whatever from back then. But it's just like what can I say? It was what it was, and I always say that they deserved better opportunities, and it would have been interesting to see like what they could have done and had circumstances been different. But it is what it is. This was another example of that.
I think when you said day and night, it made me think of this match when we're talking about participants. Brie Bella they were just good. The Bella twins were just talented and good, and you could see that she was carrying Kelly through that match.
Every one who wrestled Kelly had to carry that match.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine texted me when he saw that the Bellas were getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, and he was furious. He's like, trailblazers, pioneers, what? And I said, you got to pump the brakes, dude. I said, if you go back and watch these things, they were the reason these matches were somewhat bearable, and it wasn't just from a look standpoint. It was like they were really the only ones who really could wrestle right then and there. So
yeah, I'll agree with that for sure. They
had the chemistry for sure.
Back then,
they were twins, but.
You have people like Beth Phoenix who were great and probably, honestly, would have been way better around today.
She would have held up for sure.
But then, I just think it's a point where you sit there and you go, as much as I think Kelly's a nice person and all that, Kelly would get eaten alive today if she was a wrestler.
Jobber. She'd be a jobber.
Who's Kelly going to be? You have Charlotte, Bayley, Bianca Blair, Rhea Ripley, Becky. It's Sasha. You have these women that are even people like Carmella and people like that are better than her.
She wouldn't hold a candle to Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville.
It honestly just goes to show how far women's wrestling in WWE has come. To the point where there are some nights, and I'd say more often than not, they're better than the men on the show.
Oh yeah, I think they've been one of the highlights. Really, just just the last several years now. So I
remember an example is Hell in a Cell, where going into the show, the match I was most excited for was Becky Lynch and Sasha.
Yeah. Becky Lynch and Sasha, yeah. And then, of course, last year, WrestleMania, they did it. For the very first time, they got to headline WrestleMania, and they absolutely deserved it. Because, they were the main attraction. That's what the people cared about the most. And I commend them for going through with that.
Like I said, it just goes to show. And with this match in general, I just want to say there were a few times where you could tell that Kelly just missed a bunch of moves.
Well, yeah, there was the bulldog. I remember that one.
Oh my God.
That it's honestly, like I said, it's just tough to watch knowing the quality of female wrestling we get today.
Well, who knows? Maybe had she come through, you know, nowadays maybe she would have like